Hello everyone and welcome back to Uncommon Sense, the most uncommon place on the internet, where we question everything and we learn together. I am your host, Billy the Kid, and of course, in the studio is my co-host,
Uncle Butch, back at ya. I'm back with you here in the studio, back off of my vacation. Had a wonderful time, wonderful people, and amazing family. So, aloha to them, aloha to you. And let's jump into it.
Okay, before we really get going, I'm going to try to check the audio on here through the actual thing. And if you have to, guys, go ahead and turn us up, maybe. Let us know what the audio is like. Even if you join us later, after the live stream is already up, just let us know how it comes through over there.
I think it's going to come through fine.
We had some weird audio issues, had to adjust some stuff, but I think...
Hopefully.
I think that's okay. But I could be wrong. I have been wrong before.
You wrong? I think I've been wrong before, too.
Don't tell my mom.
It was so long ago, I forgot what it was.
No, don't tell my mom. Hello? Hola. My phone is being stupid. Maybe see if we can check it on yours.
Alright. I'll check it. While I'm checking it, Billy's going to go over some information with you here about what we're talking about today, what we're going to be discussing, and, hopefully, like we say, we're going to question everything. We're going to learn together.
Indubitably. Yeah. Right, John?
That's right.
John's busy.
John's got a mouthful right now.
John's over here doing questionable things, okay? Don't judge him, you guys. Don't judge him. I got your back, bro.
Very good.
Anyway. So I wasn't really getting anybody ready. I was just goofing off. Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Well, I don't know if I can pull that off. Hey. How you doing?
It's funny, when I used to
like
do that at work, my boss was like, don't do that, man. It's weird. Like, why is that weird? No weirder than when you do it. He's like, I don't know. It's just don't. I'm like, what's wrong? Does it make you feel uncomfortable?
Wink, wink.
He's like, seriously? Okay, I'm leaving the office. Like, why does mine make you feel weird? You laugh when other people do it.
Right.
You laugh when the girls hit on you and be like, hey. I'm like, what? I'm not your type.
Hey.
Okay, anyway, moving on. If my boss ever, my former boss ever watches this, you're gonna be like,
Uh-huh.
what up, coach? Yeah. Anyway, okay, we're gonna check out this channel today. Show you guys some of their shorts.
I think that
'Cause,
I
frankly,
just started watching these guys,
if
and
there's
they are
already
very interesting, very
yeah,
informative.
and if there's already a cool channel out there that shows all this stuff, like, why should I have to go through all the trouble of trying to make my own version or whatever,
Right.
like, so to speak? I'll probably go through and eventually we'll have a bunch of shorts with similar type content, but like, we'll just bring them up and talk about what they were talking about
Yeah,
for
there we go.
inspiration. And they're awesome channel, you know. I don't
Go
mind
visit
supporting
them. The
them.
link is in the description down below.
It is. I just got the link for their shorts channel here, and we don't know these guys. Just
No, we don't
putting
know.
that out there. Disclaimer. Okay?
Yeah,
We don't know these guys. We're not affiliated with anybody but our lame selves.
right. And you
And
are
you guys.
uncommoners.
Most of them are like, yeah, you guys are uncommon folks. Show. we know them.
You know, that's what my therapist says too, but they say I'm getting better. I can actually eat with a spoon again.
What? I didn't say anything. I literally did not say a
No.
word.
No,
It's weird. Tourette's twitch in my mouth, though.
yeah. And hand
Okay.
gestures.
So we talked about aliens last week.
Yeah, we did, and we'll touch on aliens again in a future podcast as well, because
We might even
you know
brief over it later because
yeah,
it was something
we
wanted to bring
have.
up.
I have personal experiences. I believe that it'd be egotistical to think that we're alone in the universe. So, just saying.
But I want to question history today,
All right.
and we're just gonna bring up this one because it's cool, and their audio might be.
No, their audio is fine. They can't hear that. We can hear it.
Well, I know, but
Their
this
audio. Oh.
might be louder. So just to warn you guys, their audio will probably come in louder
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
ours. So if you're wearing headphones or whatever, you got hearing aids, turn it down a little bit,
Right. If you're
and then
at
turn
work,
it back up
right.
as needed.
Yeah, if you're listening to us at work, thank you. But might want to turn the volume down.
Yeah, just in case. All right, here we go.
This is another instrument that was played by the Celtic army. This is the sound the Roman soldiers would have heard wherever they were fighting.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, just the sound. Bro. You're done. You're done. Say goodbye to your family.
I have
Get your affairs in order.
I have goosebumps on goosebumps,
Dude,
I
Gary.
just imagine myself there.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
looking at like the forest.
Yeah, not knowing that if they're coming,
You
like,
hear that and you're like,
you hear it over the hill.
want to be here?
Yeah.
I don't want to be here. Come on.
This is another.
Also, I just noticed dude's shirt said Kirk Cameron saved my life. Oh, that's funny. Anyway, I just wanted to play that because a lot of people have never heard that sound,
Yeah.
apparently, and I've heard it before. The instrument's actually, it's called a cornix, I think it is.
Mhm.
It's something like that. Whoops, sorry. But yeah, it's a haunting sound that
Yeah.
comes out of that
Oh
horn,
yeah.
right? So can you imagine being the Romans or the Anglo-Saxons coming over the hill,
Right.
and that's what you hear,
Oh yeah. Would I be afraid?
and right? And there's like nothing inside.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't see people
Anything.
anywhere.
And you
They're
just
hiding
hear
in the
all
brush.
Yeah.
Behind the little hills and trees. They're in the trees, right?
Yeah.
And it almost sounds like an animal, but it's not an animal.
Right. It sounds hauntingly
Haunting.
like
Yeah.
like something you imagine your spirits or ancestors
Almost
or a ghost
otherworldly.
world. Yeah, otherworldly.
Come from the underworld. The Romans are like, because they started doing the Catholic thing, right?
Right.
They're like the ancient gods, The ancient gods are upon us.
They're fighting.
We have betrayed them. They have come to take our souls to the underworld.
Yeah, if I was out on a battlefield and I heard that,
I'd be like, oh, my people are here. Wonderful.
I'd be, if I was a Roman soldier, I think that I would definitely just mess myself, defecate all over the backside.
Well, then, okay, so, but your actual ancient ancestors would have been Vikings
Yeah.
who raped and pillaged my lands. Anyway,
Pretend you dislike it. Anyway.
just a little switcheroo, you know. I was like, all right, your turn. No, I'm just kidding. Gross. I think I just puked a little.
Just in the back of my throat, just a little bit. It's kind of stuck there right now. No.
All right, if you don't like somewhat dirty jokes, then you're on the wrong channel. Move along.
Right.
Get on out of here. Go on. Yeah.
Go on now. Yeah.
Don't come back now, you hear? No, I'm just kidding. You can come back when your humor's better.
When you find that sense of humor you packed away years ago.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of such things, I should say, another disclaimer. Comment at your own risk.
Yes.
Because we don't answer to anyone. So, we might make fun of it. We might find it interesting and look it up. Just depends on what it is.
Yeah.
But I will say, if you truly don't know the answer, there is no stupid questions.
Right.
No, if you're being smart pants.
Sarcastic about
Yeah. And derogatory.
it. Right.
Calling me a genius.
You will definitely learn
Then
that.
I will
Not only
genius
do we
back.
have the answers, we'll give you historical accounts, presidents.
And remind you that
evidence
being a genius is what you make of it.
yeah.
No, I'm not a genius. There's more than enough I don't know. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I know a lot about a little and a little about a lot, and I'm not afraid to say, oh, I was wrong, and do my own research.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean asking my doctor. I mean,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean Googling it, for one.
Well, you ever hear the old saying, jack of all trades, master of none?
But often
Yeah.
better than the master of one.
Right.
Supersedes. I like that word. He supersedes the master of one. Okay, anyway.
All right. So
Back to the Celtic thing. Okay, so you think, though, when the Norse came over,
yeah, you look
what a different battle that would have been compared to, like, the Romans.
Right.
Okay? Because there's so much similarities
Oh, yeah.
already,
Yeah.
in their ancient cultures, and then, so they were easily blended together.
Right.
Like a lot of the Native American cultures, how they kind of all started blending together.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't remember where I was going with that initially, but yeah, just putting that out there, I guess. So, but King Arthur, I brought up earlier,
Yeah.
would they have still used that?
The Anglo-Saxons.
No, would
Or
like
King
King Arthur,
Would he have used something
would he,
similar?
do you
like
think
that?
he would have still been using that
Yeah.
horn?
That
That
horn.
was a pretty long time ago.
Yeah.
Let's look up real quick.
King Arthur here, origins
The,
of Merlin.
Well, I did look up the origins of Merlin, but let's look up King Arthur. Look, I can't spell. And I know I say don't Google it, and then we end up over here on Google.
No,
But I don't have my
wrong,
library
right,
with me
actually.
here, so just
Right.
putting that out there. And that's another thing, is it's during... A lot of this stuff is like saying it's during the 1300s and whatnot,
Right.
right?
Right.
But that brings up another question. How much of our history has been changed, shifted, completely modified,
Right.
deleted out parts of it,
Yeah.
you know.
Some say
But-
King Arthur didn't exist, though.
Yeah.
Others say that he existed, and he existed as early as the 5th and 6th centuries.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes you, kind of question.
So, yeah. Is it one of those Robin Hood deals where the legend that we now
Right.
know of as King Arthur was actually originally based on several kings in history?
Mm.
And maybe that's why I heard about I heard about it a little while ago, and then my stepbrother brought it up about whether or not King David from the Bible and King Arthur are the same person. Which, according to legend of King Arthur, he would have been much too late
Right.
to have been King David, unless those stories ended up becoming legend together
Right.
somehow in history. Or is it another case like, say, with Kennedy and Lincoln? All those crazy, strange similarities and coincidences. But we know from our history that they were two separate men,
Right.
right? But who's to say that in the future they end up becoming the same legend?
Right.
I'm just saying,
Right.
what if it was something like that? Over hundreds, thousands of years,
Right.
things get warped,
Yeah.
especially when you have overlords.
Yeah. That want to write history the way they see it.
And omit the pieces of history, consider them irrelevant to, well, it doesn't feed the narrative of the time.
Right. Sorry, got it.
So there's I point a lot of fingers at Britain and Rome when it comes to stuff like that.
Right.
Because for so much in history, they have been in charge of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, but according to... Now that was a painting in... Oh, see, this is just... Okay, I was misreading that. It was a tapestry that I was looking at. That was in 1300s. So, let's see... Yeah, the oldest stories go back to between 5 and 550. Are we... Oh, I don't think I'm showing them. Sorry, guys. I suck
we
at my
go.
job.
Here we go. And I'm just a little zoomed in because I'm kind of screwed up so I could read it.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so the historical basis for King Arthur has been debated by scholars. Let's kind of skip down here. Let's see. Archaeological evidence in the Low Countries and what was to become England shows early Anglo-Saxon migration to Great Britain reversed between 500 and 550, which occurs with Frankish chronicles. John Davies notes this as consistent. There's a smudge on the screen there.
Oh.
With the British victory at Baden Hill, attributed to Arthur by Nennius. The monks of Glastonbury are also said to have discovered the grave of Arthur in 1180. So his history goes all the way back to the 500s. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
A long time ago. So he was fighting one of the original invasions into the Celtic lands.
Mm-hmm.
They were still druids.
Yeah.
They had to have still been druids at that point.
Right.
I'm just trying to put that out there because,
Well, maybe still druids about that time.
But think about it. Merlin is the number one 100% fixed character in his stories.
Right.
There's even
Across
fluctuations with Guinevere and what's his name?
Sir Lancelot.
Lancelot. There's even shifts in those
Right.
parts of the story. Merlin is consistent,
Yeah.
right? So, Merlin was what? A wizard of the forest. What was a druid?
A wizard of the forest.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I just want to throw that out there and clarify that.
Also, I noticed when I looked up over here, this name right here, as it turns out, Merlin, who has been called Myrddin,
Myrddin with
Wield.
Merlinus and Merlin Caledonus.
That first one they list, though, is Welsh.
Yes, it is.
My family's Welsh.
Yes.
So that was pretty cool to me. And then the third one is actually Merlin
Caledonus.
Caledonus. I've heard that one many times. Merlinus. I've heard that one. Yep, see Welsh poems as a wild man and prophet who lives in the forest. Now this one says he was not always connected to the Arthurian legend.
Right.
But he first appears in the 6th century Welsh poems as a wild man and prophet who lives in the forest. That was kind of repetitive.
Yeah.
In a little bit, anyway. Alternatively, he was also said to have originated from the lowlands of Scotland, although his exact place of origin in Scotland is contested. Some stories depict him living in the Caledonian forest, others in the forest of Tweeddale. It's also believed that Merlin was partially based on Ambrosius or Emrys,
Right.
two prophetic figures that appear in historical texts from the 9th century. So, but I have read other things that say Merlin was for sure.
Yeah.
So, that just leads us really to more questions.
Yeah.
Who's lying? Who's twisting history?
Right.
Who's trying to omit him? Or who decided to create him? Okay,
Exactly.
and the same thing with Arthur.
Right.
But why would a character like that be created in a story if he was fake to begin with? Either one of them.
Makes you wonder.
Hope.
Hope.
Why would you create an elaborate character like Arthur if he was indeed, a fake piece of history?
Right.
Why would you make up a character like that?
All right.
He fought for the Celts,
Right.
according to the
Let's look
time.
up Excalibur, because that's another main
Yes.
focus.
Speaking
the
of
story.
Excalibur, though, some stories say it was from a stone, some say it was from an anvil.
Others say it's from a lake.
But I think it's the more modern stories that say the Excalibur actually came from the stone or the anvil.
Right.
Because the older stories I've read, the sword that was in the stone or anvil was his father's sword.
Right.
When he broke his father's sword was when the Lady of the Lake gave him the Excalibur.
Yeah.
But who was the Lady of the Lake? Was she real, or is she just legend?
Maybe.
Or-
wait a minute. Wait. What if she was a druid?
What if she was more than a druid? In a sense.
Right.
What if she was an ovate that was reaching her potential to be a goddess?
Could be.
Which would have been... A lot of those stories from the ancient druids were shifted into Christian saints.
Right.
Or not Christian specifically, but Catholic
Right.
saints. Like Bridget was turned to Saint Bridget.
Right.
Saint Bridget was never a real person.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there too.
So,
But how much of his story is fake? How much of it was made up? Or was there truth in there? Just like the stories of Robin Hood. There was like several people that it's thought to be Robin Hood was based upon.
right.
So there was actually like several Robin Hoods. Men who were stealing from the rich to help the poor or whatever.
Right.
And because they did it also secretly, it became legend all throughout the land that there was one man who was helping them all, somehow, some way. When it was actually several different people who simultaneously or almost simultaneously decided to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. But say for like a character like Arthur, if he was created by some grand storyteller back in the 500s, your people were being invaded. They couldn't do anything about it.
Right.
Say a small druid village clear back in the forest, in the what they call mountains and we call hills of England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales. And this small village, they know that they really can't do anything to fight against these Saxons that are coming over, right?
Right.
They have heard word of the invasion, but they are small in number. Maybe they have a lot of old people in their village. They can't do anything about it.
Right.
So, to calm the fears and anxieties of the people, they make up a story about some grand king who's going to save them all.
Right.
Or, what if
What if it actually
it was all
happened?
real?
Yeah. And it's been pushed under the covers.
What if that was the original Lord of the Rings and it actually happened? I'm just saying.
Could be.
So yeah, that's my tangent for the day, kind of, is question history.
Yes, definitely.
And question the legends, you guys. There's so
Yes.
much. Even if half of it's made up, how much can we learn from that story that was told? What is the moral of it? There used to be that. That used to be a thing. What is the moral of the story? What did we learn? What did that story give us? Did it make us
Right.
fearful?
Or did it give us
give
hope?
us hope?
Right.
You know?
It could be like, and then you unalive
And
the Croods.
yeah, right. But the thought that if there was a great man like Arthur, does bring, or Merlin, does bring hope even to the modern man, because if there was a man like that back then, there could be a man like that now.
Yeah.
And some will sit there and say, what if I am that man? And I just haven't figured it out yet.
Hopefully there's someone out there watching that is saying, what if I'm that person?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be a man, it could be a woman.
Are you the one that can pull the sword from the stone?
Right.
Are you the one that is worthy to receive something like the Excalibur
Right.
from the Lady of the Lake? I'm just saying. Even if it's all myth,
Yeah.
would you have been worthy in that story? What does your heart tell you?
Right.
What does your heart tell you? Wee lad. Oh. Anyway, okay. So, what else can we talk about here? Oops, let's go back over here. Because for me, like, the Celtic stuff, I could just talk about it kind of forever.
Well, let's go to that one right there. Because that shows part of the information we talked about last week.
Yeah, actually, no. Let's go to this one.
So, I got something for you guys.
In regards to
UFOs. How would I know?
Listen,
Alien.
it was a high-level intelligence guy that worked for the Pentagon.
Okay.
It's called the Arrow. He was a whistleblower. So he got this documentation and was told by people above him that there is a secret program within the military that have been collecting crashed UFOs, UAPs for decades now. And when he did this whole interview, like, he's like, there's different intelligent life. We're for sure not alone.
Oh, wow.
And the White House briefing, one of the journalists said, what do you have to say to that? Or basically, are we
Yeah.
alone? And she's like,
I would refer that question to the Department of Defense and let them answer that question for you. Go ahead.
and it's like, why are they hiding it? Like, what do they have to gain from hiding it?
You know, actually, they would have a lot to gain from hiding
Yeah.
it because now they can use it to their advantage.
Right.
And they can create a hoax even though there is truth
Maybe it's to
behind the hoax.
to reverse engineer alien technology to use it for their own advantage against, other countries
Or other worlds.
or other worlds. Maybe that's
You know,
why we started a Space Force.
There's interesting talk about, a war in the heavens.
Right.
And there has been for centuries, off and on.
Right.
What if there really is? I'm just saying,
Right.
maybe that's blasphemous of me, but I'm just putting this out there, okay? What if there's subsets of gods,
Right.
the Christians call them angels or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But maybe there is, there's the top guy that we call the father of the sky, but all of his, his army plus, whatever the evil side is going on, their army,
Right.
they are actually having a war in some other dimension that we can't even understand.
Right.
We don't know.
We don't know. Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, even as Christians, we've been taught that the devil and God have been at odds with each other since day one.
Yeah. At war. Yeah.
That the devil was one of his
Angels.
top guys,
Yeah.
and then decided he wanted to be top guy,
Yeah.
and it's kind of weird too when you think about it too, because the stories of the Greek mythology and stuff like that, they're similar stories if you think of
Oh yeah. In Norse mythology.
yeah, what was his name? Zeus's father. What was his name? And then he ate his children. Remember that?
I thought Zeus was the top dog.
No, there was one before him. His father. Can't remember what his name was. Anyways, I'm just saying we don't really know exactly how it all works out, but
what we need to do is question it all, do our own research, and come up with the outcome of fact and truth, hopefully, and not opinion.
No.
So
Now, bringing up opinion, I do sometimes say things like, follow your heart, and, what does your heart tell you?
right.
Things like that. But that's only to a certain extent. Okay?
Yeah.
You follow the heart too much, and it's going to lead you to confusion and nowhere.
Oh
really.
yeah.
But when you are doing your research and search for the truth, let your heart sort of guide you down that rabbit hole a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be places where it's okay, I don't know which side to believe here.
Right.
Sit back and ponder it for a little while. And because our heart actually is proven to think for itself to an extent.
Yeah.
It has its own sort of neurons and everything.
Yeah.
It
Almost
has
like
a
the
mind of
brain
its own.
Yeah.
And I think that's what is our soul. So when we think in that sense, we are following what our soul is telling us, right?
Right.
And if our soul is also one to seek truth, then it will lead us down the right path because it is connected.
Yeah. Also
Does that
go
make
off
sense?
of gut feelings too.
Well, that's kind of where I'm
Yeah.
going with that,
Yeah.
So, are aliens real? That one, I'm not really sure, but something tells me that there is something else out there and we're not being fully informed. We're being
Right.
given stupid little movie teasers
Yeah.
and, over exaggerated ads You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because then there was another one I saw. I don't see it in here, but there was another one that I saw that was like talking about some news clip
Right.
where the guy just casually says, "Oh yeah, and by the way, we heard from the Pentagon that there might be a mothership coming toward Earth. Stay with us." All casually and crap,
Right.
like, no big deal. It's
Yeah.
I'm like, I've seen the movie Independence Day. That's probably what they're planning, you guys.
Yeah.
They've been slowly drip feeding us that idea of what an alien is and what they're going to do so that we think we know what's going to happen when the mothership comes in.
Right.
And really, it's just some weird thing that the overlords of Earth have created to fool us
Right.
so that we don't get it when God comes to save our souls. I'm just saying, like, how is God going to come down here? We don't know what form he's going to come in. We don't know what his chariot looks like. I'm just saying.
Right.
I wasn't there. I never saw the chariot of God.
It could look like a nuclear bomb.
It could look like a rock floating through space. I'm just saying. The chariot of fire, maybe it looked like a meteor. You know?
Yeah.
You know? Okay, so just we don't know. Don't believe everything they tell you.
No.
Take it for what it's
Take it with a grain of salt.
yeah. And let's try to help each other figure out what in there is truth.
Right.
You know? It's hard to figure out because there's a lot of fake actors out there that are really good actors.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, I'm whistleblowing about this. Turns out they were paid by the CIA or some junk.
Right.
So, okay. Has Billy ranted long enough about...
I think Belgium.
It makes me so angry though. I want to know. Wrap me out.
Right now.
But let us know your questions about history and King Arthur and
Right.
myths. All of that good stuff. What do you think? What are your obsessions? Right?
And
like,
see,
I'm
now
obsessed with Celtic history.
And before you even go on a rant about, well, I believe this and you should believe that too, just understand we're not putting down anyone for their beliefs.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
But we just want to know what you believe as far as history.
And what questions
And
do
what
you guys have
questions-
about
yeah,
history?
yes.
About your own, the origins of where your families came from,
Right.
which is, like I said, I'm obsessed with the whole Celtic thing.
Right. And I've traced
And
my
how all that
family
went
back
down,
to
and because there's so
1526.
much in that
So,
history that we're not
1526.
told that, it was lost because the Druids didn't really write anything down. Although
Right.
it has been, it's a possibility that those marks that you see all over
Right.
the British Isles
Right.
on the rocks that go up, that was actually their alphabet,
Could be.
and that they were writing up.
Yeah. Wonder what it says. Don't stand here.
It says handicap parking only.
Come up with a lame horse and a chariot
Right,
in the SUV wagon.
right. No, they're. It says cow crossing.
Oh, gee.
Oh, okay. Just
All right.
whatever. We don't know.
We don't know.
I wasn't there, so maybe they're lying to us when they tell us that. Oh, it was this. It was that.
Right.
Can I just go back and ask a druid? I just really want to go back and ask them.
That's why I started learning hieroglyphs, because I wanted to be able to read it without being told, hey, this is what it says.
Mm-hmm.
No, I want to read it. I want to know what it says for myself. That's why with everything, legal documents, read it. Take the time to read it. Know what it says. Don't just trust the word
And
of
if
somebody else.
those marks were their, if that was their writing, that would have easily blended, or not necessarily blended, but modified into, advanced into
Right.
runes.
Yeah. Exactly.
which we know that they had some runes,
Mhm.
and there's all that Nordic stuff mixed in there.
Yeah.
So, you know, they were writing like this, and then the Norse came along and were like, well, what if you write like this? And they were like, you know what, let's make our own.
Yeah.
And it was kind of ended up a mix of the two. Anyways, okay.
Anyway,
Let us know your questions and comments down below.
until then, have a great day, a wonderful day.
And like and subscribe and share with your friends and
Yeah.
ask
share with
their
your grandma.
questions. Or ask them questions,
Yeah.
you know,
Until then, don't believe the nonsense.
and stay uncommon.